Welcome once again to Castrol Active Champions. We started this year with the story of someone all of you adore and I love and we enjoy watching. But you can't encapsulate Sachin Tendulkar's career in just one episode of Castrol Active Champions, can we? So that was Tendulkar, the test match batsman who made 51 hundreds and broke all kinds of records. But Tendulkar in coloured clothing, Tendulkar against the white ball, or was there a better opening batsman in the history of one-day international cricket than Tendulkar? No. And yet it wasn't always like that. You first got glimpses of Tendulkar, the marauder, the attacking one-day batsman, when he hit Abdul Qadir for 3 sixes in 1989, his first tour of Pakistan, and just came back at him in that little shrill, thin voice of his as a 16-year-old. But I also saw him play in a double-wicket tournament in Mumbai in 1990, and he was just taking on the bowling and literally, for the first of many, many occasions, my jaw was dropping and he said, this man is just made to hit the white ball all over. But it wasn't like that. For the first 70 games, Tendulkar was a middling one-day player. He was lost at 4, 5, 6. He was there, the ball was slowing down by the time he came in. The game was already set up. He didn't own the game. And then came Auckland. Navjot Singh Sidhu was injured. And Tendulkar got up and pleaded with Ajit Wadekar and Azharuddin, saying, give me one chance, please. He said, if I fail, I'll go back to the middle order. Can you imagine this giant of a player is actually, figuratively down on one knee and pleading to open the batting, and he made 82 of 49 balls. And if you haven't seen that innings, just go back, find it where you can, because it was the start of something sensational. And then, of course, the hundreds just started to flow thereafter. The first of those came a few months later at what was then called the Khettarama Stadium. It's now called the Premadasa, of course. And then they just kept mounting. Came the 96 World Cup in India. He was the leading run getter. Then that 98, of course. And then he made 143. He allowed India to get into the final when all of us were thinking of net run rate. He's thinking of winning the game. All his life, Tendulkar always looked at the game differently from all of us who were admiring his work. And then on his 25th birthday, one of the defining moments in the history of Indian one-day international cricket, that 134 against Australia. And what a good present to give himself. We remember it for Desert Storm, but remember, for all that, he was still only 25. They say you must do the greatest things in life by the time you're 25. And by 25, Tendulkar had already done great things. And at a time of transition in Indian cricket, he was shoring up that side. He was protecting it, dare I say, much like Castrol Active's Actibonds protect your bike engine, whether running or off. In that period, from about 97-98 to 2003, Tendulkar was peerless as a white ball player. He'd go up at the top of the order and he'd just take attacks apart. And nowhere was it better represented than that innings against Pakistan in 2003. Remember, he took first strike. Saurav Ganguly always said when they opened the batting together, it was always Ganguly in strike, Tendulkar number 2. And then they walked out to bat his partners, Virender Sehwag. And he thought, no, it's too big a day. Wasim Akram's too good a bowler. I think I'll take first strike. And I've said this so many times before. The moment I saw that back foot punch through cover in the first over, you just knew this was going to be a different day. And Tendulkar's 98 there was an innings for the ages. Post 2003, Tendulkar was a different white ball player. It was largely because he was now starting to get affected by injuries. And it's no surprise that his second wind that came in 2009 came at a period when he finally believed he was injury-free. Tendulkar from 2009 onwards was once again that little child who was enjoying himself. There he comes, he gets 175 in one game. Then he goes to Gwalior, he gets 200 in that game. And then, of course, 2011, where it's not always remembered. Everyone talks about that final in 2011. Everyone talks about all the emotion around playing for Tendulkar and winning it for Tendulkar. He wasn't a passenger in that tournament. By then, Tendulkar still pulling his weight in the side. He's made 100 number 98. He's made 100 number 99 in that World Cup. 2011 was a huge emotional moment for Tendulkar. He wasn't just protecting the Indian batting lineup. He was also protecting all the youngsters who were coming up and making a name for themselves. Tendulkar was still the mighty protector, much like Castrol Active's Actibonds protect your bike engine whether running or off. And then of course he went to Bangladesh and got the 100th 100. Even today, I sometimes close my eyes and I say 100 international hundreds, is that legal? Should players be allowed to do that? Finally scaled that summit that all of India was willing him on. But he realized that his body was now asking questions of him. His eyes were asking questions of him. He only played one more one-day international. Got a half century in it. But what's interesting is that in the game Tendulkar got 52 and played his last one-day international, Virat Kohli rose up through the ranks and hit 183 against Pakistan. Nowhere else will you see a more symbolic passing of the baton between two of the greatest white ball players of all time. Tendulkar in white ball cricket was one of the greats. Did he only play one-day internationals then? He played one T20 international, that's about it. But I saw when the IPL came that Tendulkar was coming to terms with playing in T20 cricket. And in 2010, he finally won that orange cap. But he did so playing like Tendulkar. There were no fancy shots. He hit lots of boundaries, 84, 85 boundaries or thereabouts. Only 3 sixes. Tendulkar wasn't changing his shape, he wasn't changing his style, but he was. Remember that purple phase, 29 to 2011, still playing his way and scoring more runs than anybody else. Tendulkar, the white ball player, was a genius. We're delighted to feature him as our Castrol Active champion.